Okay, everyone, how does this sound? Is this too loud or not loud enough? Can you hear me? Big mouth and all. We'll start our little CEPTA meeting going here, petition signing night. Thank everybody for showing up on the night that it is. There's a lot of meetings going on tonight, so I'm glad that everybody could make it. I did get a couple announcements from potential people that are going to be running, that they'll be showing up later because there are a lot of meetings going on that they wanted to attend also. General stuff, restrooms and all in the back here. We do have a sign-up sheet. If you wouldn't mind signing in, if you have an email, that'd be great. Then we'll keep you abreast of what's going on in our next meetings. And actually, as far as the future meetings now, the next one, our March 19th, is going to be on the gun rights. And we're going to have members of the NRA here. And we are trying to get, I'll say, the opposing view, balance it out. And I have tried the Brady campaign and Ceasefire Pennsylvania. And I'm going to see if I can get maybe some of you, if you could, help me out. I've been giving them calls and we've been going back and forth, but for some reason they just can't seem to see about scheduling the time. So March 19th is the date. I have papers here for Ceasefire Pennsylvania. There's a Shira Goodman. She must be the head of it, and a lawyer and all. I have her email and her phone number. And I wonder if you care to help me. I can hand a few of these out, or you can come pick them up. If you wouldn't mind giving her a call and their organization and let them know that we are having this, that you would like to have their representation here too, so we can have the balanced views. You can ask the questions of both sides and get your answers, get the good view of what's going on. That I would appreciate. If not, we at least have the NRA that's going to be here. And we will keep going with that.
Excuse me, John. How did you say that was going to be?
March 19th, 7:30. It's a usual CEPTA meeting Tuesdays, and just like tonight for next month. The following month, it's a proposed potential. We're going to see about the school district to see if we could get information on how things are going there, their budget, what's up with them. And then the next would be a May meeting, and we're going to check on different dates there to see if we can't get a candidates night. Usually we would have our meeting right on the same day as the primaries, and that doesn't work. So we're going to see about pushing that ahead maybe 1 or 2 weeks and see if we could let that be known and get more candidates to sign up for that if possible. And all our topics are recorded. I do the video recording here. We put them up on the site that you can get all our videos. It's epcat.us. And you can see our previous ones that we had, and tonight's will be up probably within a week or so of tonight's meeting. And that is it as far as the announcements. Now I'd like to start our meeting. And if you would mind joining me for the Pledge of Allegiance right now. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, just a few more words. Tonight's is meeting's called Petition Signing. It just so happens that moons and planets lined up, and today is the first day that anybody that's thinking about running can pick their petitions up and get them signed. That's like the first step you need to do to actually go on this process. And I'll let the experts talk about that right now. So we have Terry Harkins and Tim Benyo. They're from the Lehigh County Voter Registration. Very helpful people, extremely kind and knowledgeable, and I'll let them carry the rest of the night. Yeah, you can sit here. Hi, folks.
Hold the mic right there.
Yeah, I would say to hold the mic right there.
Hi, folks. Hope everyone's well. I thank John for having us here. We did this 2 years ago, and we had a great turnout like we have tonight. And we think it's very helpful that you can get the knowledge directly to you instead of you having to ask questions around and then coming into the office. We have everything you need to run for office, anything from the county executive to the judge of elections in your local district is available for you tonight. I think the two sheets that I handed out to you, one is the calendar of events. It's just a listing of the different timelines that you need to hit to make your campaign successful. And the second is the instructions that you'll receive, you would receive if you came into the office and got your packet. But we have them here. You can just go right down. Please feel free to ask any questions. Happy, that's what we're here for. We're just going to take a couple minutes and go through the instructions.
As you all know, today is the first day that petitions could be signed and picked up in the office. Well, we've been picking them up for a week, but it was very busy in the office today with people because I think they thought they couldn't pick them up till today, but we were actually doing it a week ago till today. You have till March the 12th, including March the 12th at 4 p.m. to get your signatures to bring them down to the office. We ask that you bring them, we are asking that the candidates bring them in because if anything is wrong with their petition, especially if they come the last day and we don't accept it for any kind of reason, those signatures won't be taken by our office. If the person's not registered or who did was a circulator, there's all things that we check when they come in, especially if you wait till the last day, there's no way to fix it.
So the earlier the better. There's no time to amend any deficiencies that are on the petitions or in your packet. So if you get it into us early, you can identify those deficiencies and then we can get them fixed before the deadline, and then you'll still be able to run on the
right. And if you need 100 signatures or 250, if you bring that in initially, you have to have the initial amount for us to accept them. From then on, you can bring in as many as you want and we'll just add them to your initial packet that you brought in. If you just need 10 or 15, 5, even if you're an inspector, we always say to try to get double or even triple if you can. But you don't have to go crazy. If you need 250, 250 is the number. We say, okay, 500 is great because you want to have extra signatures in case any are challenged. We don't challenge any of the signatures in the office. That's done by any other candidate after the petitions are in. But we just look to make sure that candidates are registered and the party they say they are and in the district that they want to run in. The same with your circulators. We make sure your circulators are registered voters and registered from where they say they signed on the back and that they are the party they are registered under, that that's the party petition they did.
The rule of thumb is that the circulator of your petition has to be from the same party that you're running for. There are exceptions depending on what office you're looking at, but rule of thumb, majority is they must be the same party.
If you're a Democrat has to circulate. Basically, school directors and judges are the exception to that rule. And we go over that when those particular offices come in to explain it. It's also written on the directions, but we try to make it really clear with the judges and the school directors what has to be done with their petitions.
If you could clear that up, I have a question on that. If someone's running for school board, they're a Republican, but they can cross file to the Democratic side. The person who's circulating their petition, if they're a Republican, the Democrat, does the circulator have to be a Democrat?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
For school directors, yes.
Thank you. That's what I thought. Thank you.
Can a person running for the school director solicit both petitions on both sides?
Only the party they're registered in. If they're a registered Republican, they can circulate their Republican petition. They have to get a Democrat to circulate their Democratic petition. But that Democrat also has to live in your same school board. The only rule of difference is the judges. If you're running for magisterial district judge, an MDJ, as we say, if you're running for one of them, you can be any party, as long as you live in that district. Their rule is very different for judges. So a Democrat can circulate a Republican petition for the DJs and vice versa. They're the only one who has those rules. The judges are the only ones whose rules are different than anyone else.
Are there any others that require that you first file, or is it just?
It's just the school boards and just the judges. Yes, John?
Is there a way to cross-file if you wanted to, and any other?
It's not
Great.
cross-filing. What happens is when the deadline gets done for petitions on March the 12th, and say you're running for a council position, and you're on the Republican side, and it's vote for 1, or it's vote for 2, or it's vote for 3. Let's say it's a vote for 3. 2 people on the opposite party only run. Someone can do a write-in that's already on the Republican side. They turned their Republican petition in. Now they want to run on the Democrat side. They can do write-in, but they have to get 10 or more signatures. You have to have the same requirements as it is on a petition in the primary to get on the ballot. So if 2 people try for that position, first of all, they both have to get 10, but then it's going to be the highest person who gets the most write-ins to be the 3rd Democrat on the ballot.
And more write-in votes than anyone else on the ballot.
Right.
That's another exception that's a bit confusing, and we'll be happy to talk you through that again.
But if it's a vote for 3 and 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans get on the ballot, it fills the vacancy.
The write-in would need to get more than the person,
Then
the lowest
all-
person
yep.
on the ballot.
Right. To beat people that are on the ballot.
So a Republican can be nominated by the Democratic Party, but by getting
More than the Democrats that are on the ballot.
it
It'd be
doesn't
like a challenge kind of thing.
it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Do they have to get that on the petition or on the preliminary election?
It would in the primary.
In the primary.
But they would need to get the word out that they're running a write-in campaign.
And the rules are totally different in November. For the write-ins. Does anyone have any other questions for those? Do you have any basic questions for the petitions? Like how to fill out the tops, how to fill out the signature, the name part?
I'd like to, just for the video, so this gets broadcast to anybody that wants to see it in the future, if you wouldn't mind going through all the stuff, saying how many petition names you have to get for each different thing that's available. I'd love that.
Wow.
So, what are we voting on this year? How many signatures do you need on a petition for it?
Countywide offices, that'd be your executive. Countywide would be the executive only. That is 250 signatures and a $100 filing fee. The filing fees are associated with certain offices, not all offices. They have to be given to the office on the first floor, the finance office, before you submit your petition. So we need to see that receipt that you filed your filing fee.
If there's a filing fee.
If there's a filing fee, not all of them have it.
They don't take personal checks. It has to be a certified check, a money order, or cash only, and that's at the very bottom of the directions.
And on the back of the calendar, it'll show you all of the requirements. So your countywide, your executive needs 250 signatures and a $100 filing fee. The county commissioner by district needs 100 signatures and a $100 filing fee. Your citywide offices, Allentown and Bethlehem, they need 100 signatures and a $25 filing fee. School directors, city school directors need 100 signatures, no filing fee. Magisterial district justices need 100 signatures and a $50 filing fee. That's 2 if they're cross-filing. That's 100 on each petition and $50 each petition. Borough offices only need 10 signatures, no filing fee. First-class township offices, 10, no filing fee. Second-class township offices, 10 signatures, no filing fee. Judge of elections, 10 signatures, no filing fee. And the inspector of elections, 5 signatures and no filing fee. I think that's, and school directors,
Other than city, or 10 signatures.
10 signatures. And that's each.
Can you say that louder?
The school directors, other than the city, are 10 signatures for each party, and there's no filing fee.
Yes, sir.
In regards to getting the signatures, I'm assuming that you have the name, address, and the date that they signed the petition.
Yes. On the,
I guess my question is that if you have some elderly people, you cannot write their address in for them, correct?
correct. When you come into to get, the only thing we didn't bring tonight is street list, which is a listing of all the people that are registered to vote in your district. We don't do that because it's just too cumbersome. It comes in paper. The city of Allentown is this thick. There would be no way that we could carry it. So you're welcome to these. They are listing so that you can go to each house and you know when you go to that house that the person in that house is registered. And on that list it shows exactly how they're registered. So the best thing to do is have them sign and print exactly how it's on that list. Now, the candidates are welcome to these lists. If you're working for a candidate, we don't give those lists out unless you have something written by the candidate that tells us that you're working for a candidate or that you are authorized by the candidate to get these lists, just because it's so costly to print so many pieces of paper and people tend to be nosy. Yes, sir.
Can we get them electronically?
Yes.
How do we go about it?
With it's kind of a archaic system that we have. You can get them on a disc. They're for a charge of $25 for the disc. But they're available. If you call me in the morning, we can have it ready by mid morning. Yes, sir.
Is that on the disc a listing of everything or just your specific areas? Like you get
Depends.
Allentown, Bethlehem,
You're-
Lower Mac, Eaton, Emmaus, Macungie, you get it all for $25.
Correct. And then you can import that into Access or Excel and then print out lists for your workers any way that you wish to do that.
That's both Democratic and Republican.
It'll give you everybody. It'll even give you the independent and the others, the minor parts.
Could you clarify, when someone's filling out a petition, they're signing a petition, and you have house number, street or road, that's pretty self-explanatory. For city, borough, township, do people put their actual township, say they have an Allentown mailing address, but they live in Lower Macungie? Do they put Lower Macungie or do they put Allentown?
They can put either. We just had that clarified, so they can put either.
Is that new this year?
Everything on these petitions are challengeable, which means not challengeable by us, but challengeable by your peers, the people that are looking to get you off of the ballot. So interpretation of the law is done by the judge who would see these cases. So there's case law on both sides that say you can put if you're in Lower Macungie but you live in Allentown, you put your Allentown.
I have an Allentown post office address, but I live in Lower Mac.
Right. There's case law on both sides that judges will have accepted both ways and also thrown out both ways. So the best way is how you're registered.
There's
the better.
If you're in a district like that, I would say that's the best way
The
to do it,
safest-
the
safest
safest way. We had clarification, and like we said, our solicitor said the way it's written in the law, it's city, borough, or township. But there were cases where either way, it was thrown off. So it all depends on what judge is hearing the challenges.
No.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
If you'd like to use Allentown / Lower Mackenzie Township, would LMT be appropriate, or should you spell it out?
I think if you can spell it out and fit it in there, sure, that'd be even better, but a judge would understand, I mean, a lawyer could, or you could point out that LMT is Lower Mackenzie Township.
I did hear about some people at Lower Mac, and that wasn't good at one time, but, so it's,
It all depends who's hearing the case.
okay.
Safe and sorry.
It's always
Yeah.
better to be safe than sorry. Yes, sir.
You also have the ethics statements that also have, do they still have to be filed?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
The question we get every day in the office is, I already filled that out because I already am holding that office. The reason you have to fill a second one out is, you're filling the first one out is because you already hold the office, so you're filling that out as already in that position. The new one you're filling out with us is a new one because you want to accept or get a new position. So even if you already filed one must be attached with your petition for the new position you are seeking. So it doesn't matter if you already have one on file. You have to file a new one. So if you file it with me on the 10th, please get it to your city, borough, township, wherever on the 10th, because that is the biggest challenge, the #1 challenge, and the #1 reason people are thrown off the ballot is because the ethics form was not filed in the correct municipality in the time frame.
And if they're running for school board, they have to file with the school.
In the school administration building. So if you're running for East Penn, it goes to the East Penn admin building. If you're running for Parkland, it goes to the Parkland admin. Allentown's goes to Allentown admin. And the county offices come to our HR department, and of course the boroughs and townships go to their administration, their township buildings. If you want to run in the position where there's a 2-year, or 4-year, or 6-year, you want to run for all of them, you can, but you have to fill ethics out for each year also. So if you're running for the 2-year, 4-year, 6-year auditor, you have to fill out ethics for a 2-year, a 4-year, and a 6-year auditor. It has to accompany the petition, and they have to go to the township also.
And on the back, it tells you exactly where you need to file what copy. It's a carbon copy, so you fill it out once, and one copy goes to us, and one copy goes to whoever.
And when you bring them into us, if you have both copies, we will tell you each and every time, make sure you take it to wherever you are. The girls will tell you right when you come in that it has to go to that building today.
Does it need to be notarized?
The ethics form does not.
Do they have to give you a receipt for it? In other words, if you go out the door and it falls off the desk,
We don't, ours gets attached to the petition. I know some of the municipalities do give out receipts. I don't know if all of them do. You can always ask for a timestamp copy, or however they accept it, ask them to make you a copy.
But it's very, very important. There's no leniency on
No
that. If it's
lenience
not
on
filed, you're wrong. And if someone challenges, you're wrong.
Right.
What forms do need to be notarized?
On the back of the petition, there's 3 sections. The top one's the circulator. The circulator is the person swearing they're the person that took that particular petition around and had the signatures, got the signatures on that petition. So that has to be filled out by each circulator and notarized.
Each and every petition.
Every one that was done.
That needs to be notarized. The candidate is the second part of the petition. The candidate's affidavit needs to be notarized basically the candidate saying that we followed all the laws, everything to our knowledge is true and just, and that has to be notarized. That only has to be notarized on one petition out of your packet. If you have 10 petitions, only one by the candidate is good.
And the
You
last,
said there are 3 positions?
There are three places to be notarized on the back of that. There-
top one is always the circulator, the second one's the candidates, and the third's the waiver. Now, the waiver, when you come into the office, each and every girl will explain to you what that is. If you plan on spending $250 or more, you don't have to sign that waiver.
Per reporting period.
But if you plan on spending money and you know you're going to spend money, you can skip the waiver part. The tricky part is if you don't sign this, when you bring it in, and the girls will encourage you to sign it, because if you don't sign it, you then become on my list. When you become on my list, you then will get a letter every reporting period. And no matter if you spend any money or not, because you would not sign this waiver on the petition, you're required to file. And it'll tell you all the dates and everything on the letter that you get from me. I am the campaign finance police. So if you don't file that, you will then have fees. So you want to file this, sign this, if you don't want to spend any money. But if at any part you go over the $250, you can just fill out the finance report on your own for that period you go over. But by not signing this, you are required every period, no matter what, to file in our office.
There's 5 reports. It's a pre-primary, post-primary, a pre-election, post-election, and then your annual. It covers the whole year. The idea is that you are disclosing all the money that's coming in and going out to you so other candidates can see what you're spending money on and for disclosure. So you would have to report, on the back of the calendar, it tells you the reporting dates. And you would also get that if you would come in to the office for your street list or whatever. We have copies. Also, there's a book that you will get that tells you all the campaign finance reporting laws that you need to follow. And it's pretty big. But it's not nothing to be scared of. It's just full disclosure is what they're looking for.
And what I will pretty much encourage you to do, if you don't sign that, is to open a committee. Because we want everyone to be, the more transparent you are with what you're doing with your campaign that people can see, the more they'll think that you're running an honest and an open campaign. You may do it on your own, and you can collect the money, but what I recommend that people open the committees. Because as the candidate, taking their own money and spending it all on their own behalf always gets questioned in this election. But if you have a committee and it's all transparent, because you can never be your own treasurer, you can be your own campaign manager, but you can't handle your own money if you open a committee. And that way, you're authorizing the people to do the money on your behalf to run your campaign. And you're showing the public that, okay, I took in $1,000. I had nothing to do with that $1,000. My committee handled everything, and this is what they did. And the committee will file all the reports necessary and everything with me, and it's all open, because all of that is open to the public to view. And believe me, this election, they view it. They ask for it, and they look.
Everyone says the presidential election, oh, that's the hard one, the difficult one. It's just volume, but this is the hard one. This is the one we earn our money.
Yeah. If anything in any question, this is the election we get.
People question everything. Yes, sir.
Certain different people are circulating different petitions. Can you sign one to one?
You can sign as many petitions as there are
A vote for.
candidates. So if it's vote for 2, you can sign 2 petitions. Vote for 5, you can sign 5 petitions. Vote for 1 petition. So what would happen if you sign multiple petitions and it was challenged, the earliest one would count.
All the
Most,
rest of it.
depending on the judge, the first one would count that you signed by the date. The rest would be stricken from those consecutive.
Pretty much happens, it's the same date, they'll strike them both out.
Stricken both out, yeah. Yes, sir?
If the candidate is running and is taking care of his own committee, what are the rules for independent political action committees that may promote?
Political action committees can be made. You can open them up. All the candidates, if the action committee is going to be for candidates, candidates have to authorize that committee to work on their behalf, and the committee has to list all the candidates that it is going to be working for. So I'm going to give you, for instance, there was one for school board last year. So if you have one for school board, it has to list all the candidates that that committee is going to support, and then all of the 3 candidates would have to sign an authorization allowing that PAC to work on their behalf.
So a PAC cannot spend money for a candidate without that candidate's authorization.
That's the idea.
If it's candidate specific, yes. If they're doing it as a whole, they're not, there's PACs now open for school boards that aren't supporting specific candidates. What they're doing is they're just getting the information out for every candidate. So they don't have to, they're not candidate specific. They're just putting videos and things up to let people know that they're running, that this is the date you vote for, these are the people who are doing petitions and so on and so on. They're not specific, they're just telling you information that's out there so that people go out to vote.
Just a quick one on those affidavits then, if you have your petitions, it's probably better to like gather them all together, and then the candidate just gets one stamp and does them all, because if they hand them in later, they have to get another affidavit for the second pack that comes in at a different time, or?
No.
Okay, just one.
Just the circulator needs to be on every petition. Just the circulator needs to be on every petition. The candidate just needs to sign and have one notarized. I think that, did I understand your
Good
question?
forever then.
Yeah, if you amend, as long as we have one with the candidate on, you're fine. You can amend all the way up through the last day. Yes, sir.
The candidate only has to be on one that's notarized, and what if that happens to be one that gets stricken? If there's an error on it, they throw that one in. If you say could have each one notarized for everything?
You mean when you bring it to us? When you bring it to us, or if it's challenged?
It would have to be challenged. It would have to go to court, so it would already be expired. We're just the filer. We just accept the
So after
paperwork.
everything's filed, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're already filed. As soon as we get it, you're a candidate on the ballot, unless the court system tells us we need to take you off of that.
We won't take it unless everything is complete.
But we don't check the signatures you get and everything and the signatures and the validity of the signatures. We don't check that. We check to make sure that the candidate belongs in is a viable candidate for that district or where that candidate's running, and that the paperwork is filled out. The rest of your packet is basically up to your peers to police that.
We just make sure you have the right amount of signatures.
Yeah, petition has to have the right amount of signatures, that's filed, or that's filled out, and that it's notarized. And besides that, it's up to the courts to decide if you're
I guess his question, and your answer got me a little confused. Suppose you only need 15 signatures, and you turn in 10 sheets for 150 signatures, but the only one you have notarized is the first one with the 15. And that's the one, I think his question was, that's the one that gets challenged with this, that sheet.
But we would never, are you saying by us, get thrown out by us, that we wouldn't accept it?
No, I mean, if the judge throws out that one sheet, are you still?
No, you're still fine, because it's all considered one.
Yeah, that's
When you have multiple sheets, it's one of 10, one of or 2 of 10, 3 of 10. It's all one entity itself.
So they just throw one signature out?
They'll throw one sheet out, yeah. The
Not
page
the
one
sheet.
of,
The whole sheet or just one
if
signature?
it's not notarized, or if,
If it's notarized, but then when they start challenging signatures, they throw them out one at a time.
if there's 10 signatures on it and all 10 are thrown off, just those signatures don't count.
The back page is good.
Yeah, just, they strike signatures, not necessarily the whole, unless there's something wrong with it, then they would throw out the whole sheet, but again, it's still a packet itself, it's not 10 different.
Is that,
Is that
okay?
Yes, thank you.
And you don't have to have the petition completely filled to have it handed in. No big deal that way.
Exactly, it can be 1 to 10 signatures on it, or it doesn't have to be completely filled.
But all your signatures have to
Equal whatever.
whatever amount you have to have. You need 250, we will add them up,
You could have, in theory, have 250 petitions.
one on every one.
Which
You
we
don't
we
want
don't
that.
encourage.
And you'll be waiting quite a long time for us to check them.
It's the expensive way to get notarized each one, so.
Yeah, and the cost goes up to you also, or to whoever's paying for the circulator.
Do you guys have any other questions?
Actually, a question on the general elections. In Philadelphia, there was turnout of 120% of some precincts, and it all went for Obama. A lot of people are saying that the new way of getting around IDs is to send it in via mail and commit fraud that way. How can we trust the system when I've been told by a federal prosecutor it's 20% of the votes coming out of Philadelphia are fraudulent?
Are you saying about absentees?
Well,
People going to the polls after
you don't
submitting
get 100%
absentees?
turnout, and
Exactly.
And I understand that it's very easy to commit fraud on absentee ballots.
I don't know if it's easy. What happens is if someone were to submit an absentee ballot in the registry that you sign, it'll say voted absentee under your name. How Philadelphia handles that and how other counties, I don't know. But I know in Lehigh County, as soon as we get an absentee in, your name gets stamped. So then it's up to the judge of election or whoever is checking your name to say, oh wait, you voted absentee, you can't vote. Or you can vote, but then your absentee would be voided.
And your local judge of elections will be holding that vote.
Correct.
Exactly, and it's the judge of election who's in charge of each polling place.
And what are the penalties if somebody tries to do that twice?
Well, they're allowed to vote. You're allowed to submit an absentee. By submitting an absentee, you're only saying, at the time you submit that, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to my polling place. So if you are able to make it, you still can go to your polling place and vote, and then the judge would then void your absentee ballot.
But not everybody is as good as you are in Lehigh County, apparently.
Well, again, I can only answer for how our system works. I don't know how it works in other counties, but
We can answer
I
any
think
question
we
here.
do a pretty good job. I don't know of any cases of that happening where people voted. I do know of cases, and they've been sent to the district attorney and
Prosecuted in Lehigh County.
in Lehigh County. So the system's not perfect, and it's written by, it's not perfect, but we do the best we can. And I promise you that we do the best we can. And anything that doesn't seem right, it gets sent to the district attorney.
We account for every vote.
And we count every vote. I know we do here in Philadelphia or other counties that they don't count absentees if it's not close. We count every vote at least 3 times.
Right, Bob?
Bob was there for most of it.
He sat and watched the challenge. Do we have a system.
It wasn't even a challenge, we didn't even get to challenge,
Yep.
that was before the challenge. Everything, you can come to anytime. There's certain guidelines that allow the public to come in. I don't care, come in anytime you want, because nobody ever does and nobody ever watches.
It's kind of boring to watch
It's
this, isn't
really
it, Bob?
slow. But please, if you're interested, come see what we do, and you're always welcome to see the machines being programmed. That's open to the public. You just let me know you want to show up. I'll tell you where to be. All of our canvassing you can come see. You're welcome for the whole process. Yes, sir.
I heard the other night that the Pennsylvania law that requires you to have a photo ID to vote was overruled by some judge. Is that true?
Well, it's been overruled. There's been an injunction. An injunction has been placed on that law that was submitted last year for last year's election cycle, and they're holding off on implementing the law until the summer. There's a date set in July for the case to be retried.
Who did that?
I don't know the groups.
How do we impeach that guy? There's no sense to that.
Well, we would.
They're trying to steal the election.
That's.
Defending the Supreme Court.
It's a Supreme Court, yeah.
They were corrupt, they threw a couple of them out too.
It's getting off the subject.
We have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You ask me questions, I'll get you answers.
But it will be held back again for May, and because there is a new trial in July, so the poll workers will only ask people that are required for ID, and that's first-time voters.
First-time voters.
They will ask everyone to show it, just to get people used to it, like they did in November, but only first-time voters will have to show it in order to vote.
So before November's election, we should have some answer. If it's going to be implemented or it's going to be changed in some form or another. That's what they did say last year.
Yep.
Government moves slow. Yes, sir.
It's a question that I always wondered about college students. If you're a student at Muhlenberg and you live in New Jersey, how can the system prevent them from voting in Allentown and voting in their hometown? How does the system prevent that from happening? Because I always think that students can get 2 votes and nobody would ever catch it. Am I right?
There's no there are no
Don't let
nationwide
that out, by the way.
election system in place at this point where the states talk to each other. So yes, it can happen.
Do we know it
Does
happens?
it happen?
We don't know.
Okay, thank you. So
But
my,
yes, it is
my
possible.
suspicions were true then. Or accurate.
It's,
They're possible.
it's
They're
possible, sure.
We can only check statewide. Our system, I can check the whole entire state. So if you live in another county but go to school in Lehigh County and register in Lehigh County, yes, I cancel your registration in Wyoming County before you can register in Lehigh County. But as far as another state, we don't have any kind of regulations for that.
Okay, thank you.
We do know, we do check other states, or we will call other states if we see on their registration form that they're previously registered in New York.
Right.
We'll call that county and tell them, oh, they're registered here.
Or send them a cancellation letter with a copy of their form here. We send it to the county over there.
Do all counties do that?
I don't know. Any other
Anything
basic
else?
questions?
So just a quick rundown, what if somebody came to your office thinking about running, or tonight wanted to pick it up, what will they get? What happens?
You already have the calendar. We'll give you an ethics form, your petition, depending what you're running for, your campaign finance book, your paperwork that you would need to form a committee, or for the committee to receive funds on your behalf.
Street list, if you ask for one,
Yeah, a
or
street
want
list.
one, or a digitized copy. Paper copies
Paper
are free.
copies for candidates.